Today I'm excited to share with you a preview of SP3, so 4.3 Service Pack 3, that's due to be released at the end of this year. InfoSol got to see a sneak preview of what they're doing, and they were gracious enough to let us have access to one of their servers, and that's what I'm going to be showing you today. And one of the cool things that they have added in this service pack is the ability to have a mobile interface. So that's what I'm going to start off with. So I'm connected twice, once from my desktop and once from my phone. So I'm going to switch to my phone now, and we'll get that going. Share my screen, start broadcast. All right, and there's my phone. Okay. And here is my WebI report. Let me move that over to the side. And let me reload this page. All right, so how I got to this page, I wanted to clear up. They mentioned that right now the way to access it would be through an open document link. So I emailed myself this link that you see there on charting and opened it up. I had to log in, and this is the report that I sent myself. So I wanted to show you several things that we can do from here. So I'm working from my phone. I can zoom out and zoom in. I can, at the top up here, I'll point here. That's how I can switch to a different report tab. So I'll select a different report tab up there and zoom out on that. And then I also want to show, you see the ellipses in the upper left here. If I click on that with my finger, this is the new interaction display that they've given us for mobile. So from my mobile device here, I can turn on some filters, freeze the headers, which I'll show you in a little bit, save it, mark it as a favorite, export, and refresh the report from here as well, and as well as handle the zoom. Okay, so I'm going to switch to another report tab and just switch to landscape mode. And now you can see my report a little bit. I can select the charts on here, and I'll slide over here. Okay, when I tap the chart there and hold my finger on it, you see how we get this expansion, so maximize button. I'll click on that, and that maximizes that particular chart to take up my whole phone screen. And then even from here, I can expand these, zoom in and zoom out on those columns as well. Okay, I'll come out of that zoom, and let's switch to a table view. So from here, again, I can zoom in and zoom out. And then I want to also show you how I can freeze the headers at the top so that I could scroll down on this report. I'll click here to freeze all header tables. And now when I start scrolling, you see the headers are frozen at the top. Okay, so I could, you know, it's not ideal for looking at your phone, but there's a lot of information that I could get here on my phone. And what I was mentioning to Paul earlier is that this report was not optimized for mobile viewing. It's just a report that they, one of their sample reports. So I really like that they, what we can do with very little effort. You don't need a separate report on here. I can get quite a bit of information just by looking at it on my phone. And of course, you're seeing it on a screen, but from my phone, it's even clearer. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, that question did come in again. Somebody wondering if it was especially formatted for mobile, which it is not.
Yes.
That's great. Another question that came in, Roxanne, was that is this like 4.2 where you have to specify a mobile category in order to make a WebI document visible to mobile users, or do mobile users get access to all the documents they would normally see in the desktop? I think you can answer that in terms of the new HTML5 UI in 4.3.
Yep, that's an excellent question. And the answer is no, you don't have to specify it as mobile. This is just a regular report that I have rights to view. I did have to log in, and this server is a public facing server. So keep that in mind as well. So I am able to log in and see any of the reports that I have rights to view through my mobile app, through a browser. It's just doing this through a browser. Okay, not through a special app, and the report doesn't have any special designation to it. So good question.
That's it for now.
Okay. All right. If there's no more questions on the mobile, then I'm going to switch to desktop. Okay. And then okay. So a lot of exciting things to show. The first thing I'm going to show over here, where you can switch between reading and design mode, there's a fourth option now for data. So I'll switch to the data tab. And then you'll see my various data sources that I have brought into my report here. So I have various sources, some from a universe, some from Excel, some from OData, and freehand SQL. So various data sources here. And I'm going to show you some cool things. If I select one of the data sources, I can see information about that. This data source, it's telling me there's 696 rows and 9 columns. And I can turn on over here on the toolbar. You see this, I can activate distinct values and also activate this facet view. And with the facet view, it's going to give me some interesting information here about each of the columns in my report, each of the dimensions here. So for my store name, you'll see that eFashion Austin is in that data set 55 times. And the city of Austin as well. Here's my months and years and states. So there's some analysis you can do with the data right there that's going to give you some information. Let me switch out of that mode and back to the table here. They've also included some interesting transformations that we can do on the data. For example, I can switch it to uppercase, lowercase, replace, trim, fill, and group the data. So let me show you the replace. If I replace, I want to take off the eFashion space, and I'll replace that with a blank with nothing there to chop that off. And now we have just the store names. And maybe to help differentiate it from the city column, I'll switch the store names to uppercase. Okay, so there's some cool things you can do with that, the trim and the fill, the group. Let's say I want to group together the Houston stores there. I can select them, create a group, and just call it Houston Plus, and say okay. And now I've got my Houston Plus grouping in there, which when I bring in my data, you'll see in action. So lots of things that we can do with that now. And then furthermore, this screen will allow us to do some merging of our data. To show this, I'm going to bring in one more data source from Excel. So let me grab that real quick. All right, I'm gonna select this Excel, but before I do that, I just want to point out a couple of new things in this view here. Under cloud storage in 4.3 SP2, we were given the ability to access data from a Google Drive, and now they've added Microsoft OneDrive as well. So that's going to be cool to see what we can do with that. And then also this one I'm really excited about, recent. This will show you your 20 most recent data sources that you've selected. So even if you have 100 universes out there that you use regularly, but there's maybe 5 of them that you use more frequently, you can quickly find them here instead of having to navigate through the list to find them in there. So I really like that. I think this is going to be really helpful. And then you could clear that history if you decide to at any point as well. So let me grab that Excel file.
Just a couple of quick questions that came in, Roxanne, on the previous part you were showing. What if you took off the plus, would it roll up?
The reason why it wasn't rolling up was not because of the name, but because of the level of detail that was included in that table. Okay. So
and then as far as the additional destinations, there's still no SharePoint or Teams. You mentioned.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that last one.
Yeah, the question was, there's no SharePoint or Teams direct access at this point, right?
Well, no, not directly, but OneDrive is pretty much SharePoint. So I think it's not far from imagining that it could work.
The fact that you can go to OneDrive is a step in the right direction. I agree.
Right. All right. So here's my Excel file. Again, this part is the same as in SP2. We have query filter options in here. I'll run that query. And I'm just going to include the objects without generating a table. And switch back to the data screen. All right. So my new query here, I'll click on that, and it has these states and some values there, which I want to join with this table, which has similar data. Okay. So I'm going to select state there, and then with my control key, I'll select query 1. And then on the toolbar here, you see this combine button. I'll click on that, which opens this window here. Here, we can now do a left join. I'm super excited about that. In this particular case, though, I want to join the 2 data cubes together. So do a full join. So I'll click on the append option. And then the little help there tells you append cube to return lines from the primary cube, followed by the lines from the secondary cube. Okay. So from this one with this one. And then it discovered our common keys, and I'll click create. And so now you get this graphic here of these two data sources being combined into one, and it's showing 16 rows, the combination of those two rows there all together now. All right. And then I can further use this to combine with other data sets as well. Before I do, I want to combine it with my sales detail data, which has state information here. But I see that my states here, I want to remove this area colon space in there. So I'm going to use the replace function again and type area colon space and just replace that with a blank. All right, now I've shaped up my data there, transformed it, and I'm going to combine it with my sales data here. So I'll use the combine button. All right, and then this time, because the names were different, it's asking me to find the keys since they're named differently. This one is called state area, and in my universe data set, it's just state. So I'll add both of those and close. All right. I'll click create. And it created my new data set. However, notice how my universe data set had almost 700 rows, but my new data set only has 16 rows. So actually what I meant to do was to have my universe data set, the larger data set, be my primary cube. So I can easily switch that as well. So I'll click on Edit Merge, and I'll just use this switch button here in the middle to swap the cubes. So my sales data becomes my primary cube for my left join. I'll click Update. And now my new data cube has almost 700 rows and 10 columns of data.
So Roxanne, we're seeing a lot of questions coming in about this because people are kind of saying, what is this? Because obviously we need to do a little bit of explanation here that, you know, that multi-source universes are going away. And, you know, in order to provide the same capabilities, what SAP has done here is to enhance the capability for merged dimensions. So let me fire some of these questions at you, Roxanne. Is this just a new way to create merged dimensions or a completely different thing?
I think it's both. I mean, you can still merge dimensions the old way, but this allows you to see it in a real graphical way as well, to be able to see your data before you even merge it, to see what it looks like. So it's a very graphical way. Not only that, but we have the transform options as well. And what's very cool, I'm going to show you in a minute, is that they're going to, this data cube that's being formed is what you'll then see to be able to build your report from.
Yes, I think this is the key point you're making here, Roxanne, is that yes, combining data is possible by dimension merging, but this adds a lot more with that, you know, with that additional capability.
Yes.
To apply rules and to visually see it right in front of you as well.
Exactly.
So does this eliminate the need for query on query approach?
No, because I'm not doing any filtering here, and the query on the query would still be doing filtering.
Right. Okay. Good. And is this replacing the variable for using a detail as a qualifier?
No, I think you would still have that issue.
Okay.
You would still need to deal with it as a detail.
Yes. a couple of people have picked up on it right away and said, this is way better than merging.
Yes.
And you can easily pull together measures and dimensions into the merge, right?
Exactly, exactly. I'm
Right.
going to do one more merge to add city
And just
detail.
a quick request there, could you verify the multi-source UNX is going away? Yes, I'm repeating it. The multi-source capability in UNX is going away. It's being phased out with BI 4.3, so we've still got some time. I believe it's the end of 2027. And the next release, BI 2024, will be the current release at that time. So you've got some time to move across. What you're seeing today with this new feature and its very powerful capabilities, going beyond what's already there for merged dimensions, is the first stage of replacing multi-source universes, and there will be even more functionality added to this in SPO4, which comes out in December of 2023. So I hope that answers your question there. Yeah, Roxanne, the questions are coming in fast and furious here. So let me. From the BI platform side, does the data merge require a federation server? Does it happen in WebI processing server or something else?
It happens at the WebI level.
Yeah, it's all done in WebI.
Mm-hmm.
So combine replaces that capability?
Combine?
Yes, in terms of what you're doing here.
Yes.
Yeah.
This, yes.
Yeah, it does. And when did you say the release date for BI 4.3 SP3 is? It's going to be mid-December, is what we're being told. So mid-December. There's no official exact date, but mid-December is what we're being told. So not too far off. And if you have multi-source UNX, will it be supported? You just can't create new ones. I don't think it's going to be there in BI 2024. So I think you're good for another 4 years, 4 or 5 years, but I think you should consider not creating more and maybe looking at some of this new capability that's coming along in BI 4.3, which I think you'll find even better than using multi-source universes. And then if multi-source universes are deprecated, what's the purpose of data federation servers?
Paul, I've got a ton of stuff to get through.
Yeah, okay, you better carry on. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll answer them manually.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to show that this created a cube here, and this cube right now they called it reporting cubes, but Christian mentioned they're going to rename this to main cubes. I think that's what he said. So that name is going to change, but this is what you will see in the design mode. They don't have that part working yet, so I couldn't show that, and he said it's because they're changing the name here. But from this cube, you will be able to create your data set. And I did want to show real quick, let me switch to design mode, and even just the transformations that I did, they're going to show up here. So if I add these dimensions here, just show, you see how my store name is showing in all caps, and Houston is getting rolled up here. Okay. All right. So that is cool. I agree. I love that data tab, and it's going to give us lots of very cool things. So on to other really cool stuff. On the toolbar, notice these two new items here. I love these. In SP2, in order to start a new report, you had to click on the home screen and select applications and web intelligence and then your data source. Now I can just click on new, and it takes me right to my select a data source screen, okay? Which I don't want to do. I want to open a new report. So this is the other new item, which is that I can open my folders from here, and notice the list here is new as well. So from this open screen, I can go right to my favorites, recent documents, personal folders, BI inbox, or public folders. The report I want to open is this report here. All right, just a couple other new items here. I can favorite the report right from the toolbar here. And then they have this new display option here, which would, this one wasn't quite working. There it goes. You see how it took away all the toolbars there? This is not presentation mode, but it's where you could, in reading mode, just get rid of all the toolbars, and then I can click that back here. Okay, so I think that'll be a handy feature as well. Let me come over here. The intra-document link has been revised, improved. So let me switch to design mode. And let's say I want to add an intra-document link to this column here that will pass the variable. So I can select add hyperlink to other document. This is the open document link, so opening a new report. And this is new. So before you had it opened a dialog box, and then you had to click browse in order to browse to your document. Now it goes right to the browse and has you select your document. And then everything's all in one screen. You don't have to click additional screens to go through. So from here, I can make all these selections. I can say, yes, I want to pass from this report the selected variable, and click OK. So that's a cool addition that they improved on the open document link. The intra-document link also has some very long-awaited additions. So as soon as they introduced the intra-document link, which is being able to link from one report to another, and we were using that especially in the headers to jump to other tabs in the report. But right away, what people wanted to do with that is, can I pass a variable with that? And now they have added that capability. So I can select, let me switch to reading mode and click on California here. And I'm going to go to this next tab here, which is my target tab. And it passed California. I'll go back to that report and select Florida. And it sends my, opens up the target tab and selects Florida. So let me show real quick how to do that here on this. I'll switch to design mode, and just because of time, I was gonna do both of these, but now I'll do both at once, okay? So I can click and select both a year and a state by setting up my intra-document linking on this cross table. I'll right click, select hyperlink, choose the middle option here, add hyperlink to this document. Before I leave here, the bottom one is new in SP3, and that's where you can just add a hyperlink to a URL in your browser. All right, I'll select the report tab I want to go to, which is this report tab that I called target. And I want to pass both the states and the year. And I'll select the variable, the object there. So I'll pass my state and my year. Okay, and of course I could add a tooltip as well.
So Roxanne, is it using report level input controls in the intra-document linking?
Yes.
Right, thanks.
And HTML still. So I'll switch to reading mode and select California 2017 and switch to this tab. So up here, I'll turn on and show that the target tab has input controls for state and year. And that's what I'm passing to this in that link. Okay, I'm going to reset so you can see all the states and all the years for each state in here. And then if I come back here and select, say, Texas 2018, this is a very good year, I can see that level of detail. So furthermore, another awesome thing that they've given us, look how it says Texas up here. Let me expand that a little bit. This is a new formula that they have given us. Let me open my formula bar. So input control filter, and then I'm specifying the name of my filter here, which is states. So I can do the same thing here for my year. I just added the text there, and I'll add a plus sign. Input control. Wording already. Input control filter. And then specify the name in quotes. And validate that. And it's showing 2018 there. This one is a multi-select one, so I could select multiple years in here. And it uses the semicolon to divide them. But not only did they give us this, we also have the capability to change that. For example, let's say you don't like the semicolon, you could say, I want to put a dash in there instead. You could change it to dashes or whatever symbol or change you want in there. Just put a semicolon and then within quotes, what separator you want to use. The only thing that they don't have working yet is, so what happens when I reset this and choose all? Or what if I choose nothing? So right now you just get a blank. I found an easy workaround for that by just adding an if statement. So right now I have this, put the selected state here, and then here's my year input control. If that's blank, then display all years, else put the selected state in there. Okay, so an easy workaround for that. I love that they made this really easy to get to. All right, now in this scenario, you know, the intra-document linking is great. One of the things they mentioned is if this report was refreshed at night and it had a lot of data in here, using this intra-document linking is a faster way. It can cache the data all at once, and then quickly moving to the other tab really helps. It's very, very fast. One of the things that I wanted to do in testing this out was I needed to flip back and forth quite a bit. Well, one of the cool things they've also added are icons. And so I'm going to add a little icon in here to do that. Look at all these very cool icons that we have. You don't have to search the web anymore, find free icons. They're here, and it's a long list. So I'm going to find something in here like this one, this return arrow. That'll work. I'll drop that right there. And now look at in the formula bar, it's just Unicode. So I can use this to use my linking, my intra-document linking to go back to the other page. Before I do though, I'm going to resize it, which if I just resize it like that, I have to remember that it's text. So I have to come to my format paintbrush here and change the size of the font. So I'll bring it down to, let's say 18. Yeah, that looks, oh yeah, that's much better. Now I can resize that. Notice also the W and the H there. Isn't that cool? I can see exactly how big I'm making that. All right, I could add color to it, things like that as well. Right now it's not going to matter because I'm going to create the hyperlink on it, and that hyperlinking will take over any color that I add to it. So let me do that. Hyperlink, add hyperlink, this document. I'll point back to this tab, and I could add a tooltip if I wanted. All right, so now I can click here, switch back to my Enter Document tab, select a city, state, and year, and quickly continue my analysis. You can imagine the possibilities of what we could do with that. So much. They also added linear gradients to a cell as well. What's that?
Cool. Yeah, that's very cool. A couple of quick questions. Is there any way to reset the drill filters input controls using a button and not through the menu option?
You in 4.3, we do have the reset all here button, so that resets everything here.
Excellent.
Okay.
And do you have to set up the input controls in the target report before the interlinking works?
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks.
Because you would want to, yes, be able to reference them when you're setting up the link. Absolutely. Yep. Good question.
Great. That's it for now.
Okay. I want to show one other report real quick that uses the linking. Sorry, the icons. So here they added icons here and just used conditional formatting to get those in here. So the default one was the green check mark. And if they didn't meet the green check mark, if I go to the formatting rules and edit that alert icon, you'll see if the margin is less than 1 million, then format it with this character here. And you can get that from once you add the character to your report, just to pick that up there to know which one to use. And then you can make it red. And then for the second condition, if it's less than 3 million, give it this other icon and make it yellow. So that's it. They did that. Same for the up arrows and down arrows there. Okay. Another quick new thing. Notice when I switch my reports up here, this pin button. So that's new. I'm going to switch back to my new features report. I talked about that. Element linking. This is another similar to our input controls that they've given us. So if this cloud chart here is an input control that is changing what state is being displayed below. So if I click on New York or California, it's filtering this data below. Also, my pie chart also is set up as an input control. This part is nothing new, right? That's regular input controls. What they added for us here is a similar formula. So I can, instead of just revenue by state, I'm going to say with my element linking. Now, the thing I need to know for this formula is the name of the block that's doing the filtering. So this particular block here, yes. Okay, I'll fix that in a moment. This block here, if I show you up here, it says tag cloud, that's what they called it. This block, the pie chart, they called pie chart. It might just be block 1. It doesn't have to have a name, but you have to reference whatever it's being called, either block 1 or block 7 or tag cloud in your formula. So this is my block that's doing the element linking. I'll click on the cell where I want the formula and I'll type equals and I'll start typing element linking filters. And then I'll, in double quotes, reference tag cloud and hit enter. And now if I switch back to reading mode, if I switch to Texas, you'll see Texas is shown up there. I could add additional text. Same for the pie chart here. I could do that as well. We also have the same option. If this is a multi-select, we can change how it's viewed on there as well. All right, new formulas. I know this is going long. Some quick new formulas they've given us. We've always had this previous formula. Now they've added next, and then you could add next 2 or next 3, however many. Let me switch to design mode so you can see that. Here's the previous one, which on this row for quantity sold is showing the previous amount. If I switch to the next row, it's showing the previous amount, which is 1 previous. All right. The next formula works very similarly. So on this row, the next quantity sold is 2163. And on this row, the next is 6195. And then the last column has next 2. So the 6095 is 2 down from this row, 2 next values. Okay, so that's a new one. This is kind of cool. We've always had this name of the formula, right? If you name a variable, the name of shows up here in your header, right? Name of year. Well, this could be a cool addition to your documentation tab of your report. They added this formula of, so I can reference that same variable, my last refresh variable, and just type formula of in front of it, and it shows, it displays the formula there for me. So without having to hover over or check out or edit the variable, I can see exactly how the formula is in there. So I did the same with these couple other formulas. And then this one, my target value here, they also gave us the description of. So I can add another column. If there's a description on the variable, I can display that in there as well. Aligning tools. They added this, which I love. Notice here, if I want to line that up with the table at the top, the table on the bottom, I love that. That's going to make things so much easier. The trellis. I'm galloping through this, I know. I have a cross table here, so 2 dimensions and a measure in here. They've been talking about the trellis for a long time. Let's turn this table into a trellis chart instead. So here's the new addition here, and I can select column chart. So it's going to take that data and display it 1 per, in this case, sorting. So all the years for each of the stores. And then I can easily switch that as well. So let's say instead of by store, I can drop my state on there and view it by state. So this could be a really cool analysis tool. There's several options that they give us here. Of course, this all depends on what your data actually looks like. I could switch this to line charts if I want. You know, they won't all look right on there, but they could. I could do a scatter plot, but that needs a third variable, I mean, a second measure. So let me add that in. So, you know, depending on your data, but just wanted to show that we've been waiting for this for a long time, and I'm really glad to have that in there. So now this really needs to go on 2 axes. Now that I have 2 things in there, 2 measures. Okay, I think I've covered just about everything that I wanted to cover. They made resizing the columns quicker, really fast. They made improvements to OData. You can now, in SP2, when you selected the OData URL, it was static to that particular report. Now you can schedule the report and get the OData URL from that, and it will always pick up the latest instance of that report. Oh, and then prompts, they added prompt hints. So now if you have, like, want to explain how to set up your date prompt, whether it's month, day, year, or year, day, month, you could specify that in a hint or a description in your prompt, and that will show up for them as well. I'll open that up, but are there any questions I can get to?
Yes, there are. Does intra-document linking permit selecting itself the same report tab as the target?
I believe you still intra-document linking to link to itself.
Yes.
Let's try it. The thing with intra-document linking is I couldn't say which block I'm filtering, so it would filter the entire report. So I do know that. And I want to pass it here. Oh, let me switch to reading mode. So no, it doesn't seem to like that.
Okay, that answers it.
Mm-hmm.
Will all these new features be available in Rich Client as well, or is this only WebI?
I don't have the answer for that. I imagine they've been working really hard to keep things in parity, so I imagine they would be available in Rich
Okay,
Client.
we'll verify with SAP and get back to you on that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Are they considering trend lines to scatter plots?
I don't know.
I think we'll check back on that one as well. Somebody was very excited about the prompt hints.
Okay, I'm gonna, here's my report with prompts. Let me show you that. So, which one did I set it up for? Not this report. Well, let me show you. I'm setting it up here. So here's the prompt hint. So I can put whatever words. And I can, what I thought was cool is you can make it bold, you know, make parts of it bold. And so now when I run this, choose a product line. But you can see for dates, especially, how that could be super helpful. For departments, is it a 2 code or a 4 code that I need to add in there? Things like that be super helpful. One thing they didn't go into here, they are working on adding, so this is a prompt variant, which I think gets very little press, and I think they're so helpful. This is a prompt variant that I have set up. So let's say these are prompt values that I use all the time. I'm working on this report, and I really hate having to fill it out every single time that I refresh this report. Especially when you have, you know, maybe 7 or 10 prompts that you fill out all the time. You can click the save button and save it as a prompt variant. So that's been around for a long time. But they're always personal to you. So they're cookies saved on your workstation, your laptop. What they're working on adding is public ones. And so I could add a public one as well. So that way they could be shared across the organization as well. So that's going to be cool too. All right. Any other questions? They worked on reducing some of the white space. So they've made things more concise in the toolbar here. Oh, and in the formula, in the query panel, I love this change. The objects are now the size of the name of the object, whereas in this is how it looks in 4.3 SP2. All the objects are the same length. And you can see how if you have a big query, you're not gonna be able to read that very easily. But in SP3 now, each of the objects only takes up however long the name of the object is. Okay.
Okay, a couple of quick questions. For the introdoc link to the same tab, was an input control created on that tab?
No, good point. Good point. But
okay.
it wouldn't even filter for the year that was there, though. So.
Can you save your query from the query panel?
Can you save your query? Oh, I don't think that was one of the things that they mentioned, but that would be nice. If I made a change here, I can apply changes and close. So, and then save the report. Essentially, that just purged the data. But that was available in SP2.
Okay. So it's not, you can't save your query from the query panel then?
No, not other than that, apply changes and close.
Okay. All right, and then where is data tracking?
Where is data tracking? That is here someplace. Let me find it. Under insert tracking. It's under one of these. Tracking data changes under analyze.
Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Thank you so much, Roxanne. That was absolutely amazing. Lots of really
exciting
positive
stuff coming. Yep.
Yeah.
Super exciting.
Lots of really positive comments coming back there. I think people got a lot out of that, and you crammed a tremendous amount in to a very short amount of time. A lot of questions there to handle as well. Okay, so let me hand back to Lucy. Thank you again, Roxanne.